some of you may have noticed that I've made a few videos and pointing out right-wing pedophiles and sexual deviants, from MTG's drag boyfriend to the guy masturbating across from a school, the Republican caught with child porn, the Republican who won very strongly, who was best friends with a child sex trafficker, convicted child sex trafficker, and his friend is Republican, right? It seems like every week there's some new, either GOP member or ally who has been exposed for something sick and disgusting. Why is it that I keep pointing these things out? For the same reason that I will mock the lack of masculinity of, a pipsqueak like Ben Shapiro, who has to go to Home Depot to buy a block of wood to declare his manliness, and other such people. If you're going to be going around talking smack about other people from a thin glass house, you better believe I'm going to come for you. And additionally, I don't really see a lot of pushback from conservatives, right? No matter how crazy, we see the Republican Party going, or conservatives in general, silence, right? These are the same people who spend all day talking about how the left is so extreme and they're ruining the country and all this kind of stuff. Meanwhile, when your own people, right? And I don't do the tribes thing, but people, that's what Americans like to do. I hear people trying to explain to me how it makes sense, this whole tribal thing and team sport, like they actually legitimately think that's the way to go. Okay, so if you want to play team sports, that's on you, right? I'm playing by your rules. You want to play team sports, then you need to check your own team before you talk about other teams, right? I don't give a fuck about the left in this country or the right. I don't give a fuck about any of this American political tribes, right? I care about Americans in general. I don't care about your ideology. The tribes, I don't give a rat's ass, right? I care about people, and I care about my fellow citizens, right? You guys have fun with your little tribal wars. But since you want to play these tribal wars, I'm going to speak to you in a manner that I think is appropriate, right? So if your tribe keeps getting out of control, you have people in the Republican Party talking about, there should be no separation between church and state, right? I mean, basically pushing us towards the American version of Sharia, right? And this is something that was discussed back in the day, and like, that's not what we want. And now we have Republicans openly basically pushing for the American version of Sharia law, right? Where you get severe punishment potentially for violating their religious beliefs, right? We have people who can get a lot of donations from Republican voters who say things like this. And I don't see any pushback. If I don't see any pushback, that means that you guys are all on board, right? You guys are all on board. And specifically, one of the big things now is going around accusing people of being pedophiles. Well, I shouldn't say people, the left, right? And I ain't caping for the left, right? I'm not their friend. They're not my friend. I'm not their friend, right? But if you guys want to go around calling other people pedophiles and all this kind of stuff, and then your tribe is going to keep legitimately having actual pedophiles, right? I'm going to go after you for that, right? I'm going to make a point of pointing it out every time your people do that sick, disgusting bullshit. Because again, not only is it, I see on the right all this talk about pedophiles, being pushed at their political opponents, but you're also the ones who, cloak yourself in this family values and traditional values and respectability and all this kind of stuff. You have like Ben Shapiro, this is all this kind of, we're the good people and our political opponents, they're evil, right? But yet, it's not even worth a post on your social media to call out a Republican who is involved in child porn or any of the many things that we've seen in just the last 2 months, right? So I'm going to call it out, right? If you're going to go around pretending to care about this stuff, right? Pretending to be all like, the kids and this and that, and then you're going to see your tribe doing the same sick, disgusting thing that you supposedly care about, and then you're silent. right? I'm sorry. I'm not going to accept that, right? I'm going to keep calling it out every time your tribe does the very thing that you keep accusing other people of, right? And I'm going to especially do it because I don't see conservatives doing it, right? I don't see any outrage coming from the right when these things happen in your tribe, right? All this talk, there's so much, everybody, oh, election, and not a single person who was charged with fraud, actually did the fraud, and voted for Trump. I didn't hear anyone complaining and, oh my goodness, locked them up, right? Obviously, if you bring it up, they're all gonna be dishonest and be like, oh, well, I don't stand for that, that's wrong, right? But so I gotta pull that from you. But when you hear a rumor, about someone on the left doing something, supposedly this guy is a pedophile, that's worth a post? So let me get this right. So a rumor about someone on the left that does something disgusting, that you feel is disgusting, that's worth social media posts and outrage. Oh my goodness, this is sick. They're all sick. These people are sick, right? But when your tribe does it, that tells me that you don't actually care about this stuff, right? That tells me that you're simply being manipulated by conservative influencers, right? Who are telling you what to be upset about, right? And you're being sheep, right? You're being sheep, allowing someone to manipulate you and tell you what to be upset about. And if you don't get that instruction, then somebody has to bring it up to you for you to be like, oh yeah, well, that's wrong. Yeah, that's definitely wrong. I don't stand for that, right? But the stuff that the right-wing influencers want you to be upset about, you don't need to be prompted. No one needs to ask you about it. You'll bring it up in a conversation. What about that Democrat who did blah, 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 right? I think this country would be in a much better place if people spent more time worrying about their own little tribes than they do worrying about others, right? Think about the tribe you don't like. Whether you're on the left, you don't like the right, or you're on the right, you don't like the left. Why do you think your political opponents are the way they are? You think they're just evil? They're satanic? They're from another planet? Like, what is the reason that things are the way they are with political opponents? Do you think perhaps it's because they're doing exactly what you're doing, spending all their time focusing on your tribe and not their own? So therefore, there's no accountability, right? So the bad actors on their side are able to get away with a lot of stuff, a lot of pushback. The only pushback they're getting is from political opponents, which don't really get a lot of sway, right? A left-winger isn't going to worry so much about critiques coming from the right, right? A right-winger is not going to care so much about critiques coming from the left, right? You are politically opposed to each other, right? So the most important critique has to come from within, right? So when you see, if you're a conservative, and you see these right-wingers calling people pedophile with no evidence of it, just spreading rumors, right? You need to be outraged. You need to call them out. You need to post on social media and say, this is disgusting. You're not a real conservative. This is not what conservative stands for. This is dishonest. This is demeaning, right? You can even, if you want, I would even accept you saying, be better than the left, right? I would even accept you saying that, be better than the left. You believe the left is crazy and insane and whatever. So when you see the same kind of behavior or worse coming from your side, call them out and sure, tell them, hey, this is what the left does. This is not what we do. Right? Take some responsibility for your own ideology before you lift a finger to point at anybody else's. Have some accountability, right? Stop always looking outwards. Oh, what they. What about me and us, right? Let's focus on they. Like, let's switch the pronouns, right? Less focus on the they, more focus on the me and us, right? What are your people doing? All the craziness, the fact that people who have been QAnon affiliated are currently in the GOP, and conservatives have nothing to say about it. Silence. And these people are able to raise lots of money, which what are other people supposed to think? That says to me that conservatives are on board with the insanity of the Q nonsense, right? And then the other thing about it is downplay things. People say, oh, this is crazy. And you're like, oh, you're just making things look out of proportion. And then we find out, no, we weren't, right? Roe versus Wade. They're not banning abortion. It's not about banning abortion. You don't even know what that is all about, right? But we see the writing on the wall. We know the pattern, right? Inch, and then take a mile, right? So they overturn, Supreme Court overturns, and then essentially we see abortion bans all over the country. And then the other thing is, let's be, come on, man, it's 2023. we gotta be a little bit more, a little better with critical thinking and better with self-awareness, right? Please, it's just so frustrating. The idea that people that are doing evil things are going to specifically spell it out what they're doing, right? Guy wants to go and rape women is going to go around saying, man, I love raping women, man. I'm going to go out to the club tonight. If a Republican wants to ban abortion and they know that it's an unpopular thing and there'll be a lot of resistance, which there is, right? They're not going to just ban abortion, right? They're going to do something that's not technically a ban, but effectively it is, right? This is not nothing new. How many times do I have to see this strategy, right? If I want to restrict voting, I'm not going to say black people can't vote, right? I'm not going to say let's do a bill that limits the amount of polling stations in all the poor neighborhoods or something like that, right? If I want to discriminate against certain voters, I'm going to do it in a sneaky way. I'm going to do something else that achieves that effect, right? Every conservative should know this by now, that this is what the GOP does. So either you are complicit because you know what they're doing and you're helping them to lie, or you just don't get it. Well, if you didn't get it before, now I'm letting you know, right? If the Republicans want to do something that is going to be highly opposed, they're going to do something else that achieves the same effect, right? If I built a private road, my own money, right? And I don't want any cars on it. I'm not gonna. People are gonna say, "Oh, how are you gonna ban cars?" I'm not gonna ban cars, right? I'm gonna maybe put a height restriction that's lower than the average car, right? No vehicles over 4 feet tall or something, and I'll give an excuse, why I have it. I'll plant some low-hanging trees or something, and I'm going to talk about that we have to preserve the plants and stuff like this. This is very beautiful. We spend a lot of money putting these beautiful plants, and we don't want people with large vehicles knocking them over. Large vehicles, right? And then we say 4 feet and up, restricted. So basically, no cars. I didn't ban cars. I never said ban cars. When did I say about banning cars? Right? And then maybe there's some sports cars that are lower than that, and I'll say, look, there's cars there. Cars aren't banned. Look, there's cars. I see cars every day. Three sports cars every day come through. It's not a ban. This is what they do. You've got to know this stuff by now. And now I know if you're a subscriber of mine, you do know this by now. So I don't want to see people acting so oblivious when Republicans do some kind of bill that's not directly what they're trying to do, right? And it's funny, the same people who don't get that concept will get the concept that the Republicans like to talk about, which is the poison pill, right? Which is a legit thing, right? They don't necessarily, talk about poison pill, in a legit way necessarily. They would definitely say there's a poison pill when there is no poison pill, just to sort of scare people. They won't tell you what the poison pill is, right? But the same people who are aware of the concept of Democrats coming up with a bill that has a nice name, like the Uplifting All Boats Bill, right? And it has a few things that sound good, but then somewhere in there's some kind of, really corrupt thing, right? But anyone that challenges it, oh, what, you don't want to uplift all boats? I don't understand the inconsistency of people's thinking. So you understand that level of trickery, but you don't understand the level of trickery where Republicans will create a bill which is sneakily designed to do something else, right? But rise up cover so they can say, no, we didn't actually do that, right? So it's not about what the bill, it's not exactly what the bill directly does. It's what is the effect of this bill. Like, that's the way you have to look at it because of this trickery. When they do these bills, what is the effect of this bill, right? And see if there's anything that it might cause that might be kind of concerning, right? Rather than, it doesn't specifically ban cars, right? Anyway, spend more time calling out your own side, right? A majority of your political complaints should be about what your side is doing. Because if each side is only focused on the other side, then no one's paying attention, right? The people you don't like are the way they are because people in their tribe are too busy worried about you, right? People on their side are not saying, hey, this is not right, this is not right, this is insanity, we got to stop this is wrong, right? So knowing that, why are you doing the same thing? Why are you allowing your tribe to act up, out of control, doing all kinds of nonsense, including the things that you're so concerned about when the other side is doing it? Why do you allow that, right? I think people should earn the right to have a lot to say about, this ideology, whatever. If you don't have your house in order, I think you should keep your mouth shut, right? So I invite you to join me outside of the tribes, living in the world of reality, because guess what? I can say anything about anyone. I can talk about anybody's ideology because I'm not in a tribe, right? So I get to speak my mind, right? But you don't get to speak your mind about other people's ideology when you're silent about your own. Inappropriate, if you ask me. Of course, I can't control what you say. In reality, you can say whatever you want to say. But in my view, get your house in order before you worry about other people's houses, right? That's my opinion. This is Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.